Hear ye! Hear ye!
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our January 27th open board meeting, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, the Executive General Manager's report, please.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board, community on Zoom. Welcome and Happy New Year. Another year, 2021, as we begin. First off, there were no questions from the December 2020 meeting. There were some suggestions, and the board will be investigating those. As you may know, the state's stay-at-home orders were rescinded, and the county has reverted to the purple level. This will allow HOA business meetings, such as board meetings and committee meetings of 10 or less, to occur in person. The South Clubhouse pool will reopen on Monday afternoon. You will need to reserve a time through the Recreation Department to utilize the pool. Also, on our website and Good Day Sun Lakes, you will find an updated open and closures list for the community and the facilities. Now, election season for the country's over, but not for the HOA. Election season is upon us here at Sun Lakes. There are 3 seats available, and interested candidates can pull papers starting Monday, February 1st. Those forms must be returned to the administration office no later than 5 p.m. on Friday, February 19th. Now, as a reminder, the election date is scheduled for Wednesday, April 14th. Meet the Candidate forums will be held on March 2nd and March 3rd. And what I'd like you to do is stay tuned to the website and Good Day Sun Lakes for exact times as well as election information. That may be a Zoom Meet the Candidates. There may be changes that are occurring. So please pay attention to the website and Good Day Sun Lakes. Now, the board and staff are working with local hospitals to host a coronavirus vaccine site at Sun Lakes. But at this time, we still have not received authorization to do that. And I appreciate the members who have called the board and administrative staff following up on that. Unfortunately, we have not been clearance to do so, but we are still working on that. I also wanted to provide a brief update on the upgrade to the point of sale system. At the December meeting, I talked about doing a PowerPoint presentation, but at that time, the contract was not finalized, and due to the holidays as well as some contractual language, that was just finalized today at the executive session. So I will be doing a PowerPoint presentation about the point of sale upgrade at the February 24th open session. That's for Ken Johnson. Also, I'm going to have some updates from Mark Schleiden and Sherry Wood. So, Mark, can you come up, please?
Good evening, everyone. This is pertaining to the work that Restoration Management Company is currently on site and performing regarding the clubhouse attic space, restaurant and kitchen involved as well. During the closure of the master clubhouse due to the pandemic and with the lack of disturbances in the entire main clubhouse, it was discovered that raccoons and other vermin had made their way into the attic spaces. This resulted in damage to the insulation, wiring, and wood in the attic area. This required emergency action to clean and repair the attic spaces in the clubhouse. Furthermore, access points have been addressed to prevent further incursions. This work is expected to be completed by Thursday the 28th, which is tomorrow. After the completion of the work performed by Restoration Management Company, we will begin to look at all the openings or possible access points to be sealed and closed. Additionally, Bell Roofing will be on site to inspect the entire roof for both broken tiles and points of entry. We will continue to trap until we are certain all openings have been sealed and the roof is clear. Lastly, All removed contaminated insulation will be replaced with new insulation. We will also work with Orkin to conduct 6-month inspections and continue to set traps and bait stations throughout the master clubhouse. Any further comments or concerns, feel free to contact me in the administration office, 951-572-3460. Thank you.
Next, I'm going to have Sherry Wood, Director of Food and Beverage, come up to give us an update on some of the specials, everything that they're working on there. So Sherry's coming up right now.
Hi, good evening. With us still being in purple, we will continue to offer curbside to-go and home delivery. We're continuing to offer our daily special, and this is going to be posted on Good Day Sun Lakes and e-blasted daily between 10 and 11 a.m. And we'll continue to work with our restaurant task force and our restaurant lounge committee with some of the things that we had talked about before, doing some regular specials as well as our daily special. I'd also like to remind you that you can call anytime starting at 9 a.m. to place your order and set your delivery time for a later time. Our phone lines do get very busy between 4 and 6 p.m. during the dinner hour. And so I would highly suggest that you call in earlier if you know that you're going to want to place a dinner order. It'll make our phone lines a little bit less busy. And know that we do return the phone calls in the order that was received, and we will get back to you. If you call multiple times, it kind of clogs up our phone lines, and it makes it a little bit slower for us to get back because we have to get through those messages. So just please leave your message and know that we will get back to you. And then if you know ahead of time, call earlier. And just be patient, please. We're trying to get to them as soon as we can. And we will be looking at limiting the pickups, 10 cars every 10 minutes during that dinner hour, just to make sure that we don't have people waiting too long. But that's all I have unless someone has questions.
Okay. Thank you, Sherry. That completes staff report, Madam President.
Thank you. I'll give Jason time to get back to Okay, report on the executive session.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. This report will give the community an update of actions that were taken by the board at the executive session meetings on January 13th and January 27th, 2021, at which time litigation, member discipline, and formation of contracts, as well as personnel matters were discussed. As far as member matters, the board reviewed 6 show cause hearings. The board reviewed and denied a member request for an overnight parking variance. The board reviewed 3 member requests for a fee waiver, denying 2 and approving 1. The board reviewed an appeal to the Safety Advisory Committee and upheld the committee's decision. The board reviewed and denied an appeal of a board ruling. The board reviewed and approved a request from EPAP for supplies and equipment. Now, legal. The board reviewed and approved the minutes from the December 9th, 2020 and January 13th, 2021 executive sessions. The board approved the food and beverage and golf receivables as of December 31st, as well as the assessment account receivables as of November 2020 and December 2020. The board approved a foreclosure on lien and recorded the notice of default on the following: APN 440-180-059, APN 440-122-018, APN 440-090-046, APN 440-190-014, APN 440-142-062, APN 419-293-001, APN 440-300-035, APN 419-380-050, APN 440-180-046, APN 440-150-021, APN 440-113-012, APN 440-061-012, APN 419-410-041, APN 419-320-061, APN 440-220-014, APN 440-101-058, APN 419-292-046, APN 419-292-028, APN 440-090-004, and APN 440-082-004. Formation of contracts. The board reviewed updates from the management company on a number of items. The board reviewed and approved to use Coachella Valley Collections for outstanding debts from prior homeowners. The board approved to remove the mandatory gratuity for home delivery. The board reviewed and approved London Gentry LLP for the 2020 auditing services. The board reviewed proposals for the Pro Shop refresh. This item is on tonight's agenda for final approval. The board reviewed proposals for rodent cleanout and abatement in the main clubhouse. This item is on tonight's agenda for ratification. The board reviewed and tabled adding the golf annual as an option to be paid from escrow during the sale or purchase of a home. The board reviewed and approved the ratification of the emergency repair of the gate camera software. This is on tonight's consent agenda for final ratification. The board reviewed, discussed, and approved the POS agreement after speaking with legal. The board discussed the water features at gate number 2. And the board discussed the county's COVID guidelines and what we can have open in the purple tier. And that completes the report on executive session actions for January.
Thank you. Okay, we have no report from the City of Banning or the sub-associations or the delegate assembly. So next we will have, is Ron on for the treasurer's report? We're waiting, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have the treasurer's report for you. No, that's going to have to be louder. Can you?
And any of you that are attending by Zoom or telephone, we have two reports tonight, reports for both the month of November and the month of December. Since the last board meeting was early December, we did not have November financials. So I'll just quickly go through November because we also have December, which is also end of the year. Net income for November was $51,576, bringing the year-to-date loss to $76,094, and that was $21,751 better than budget. Total revenues in November were down at $1,054,417, resulting in year-to-date total income of $11,915,590. And as you all know, revenues are down due to both the restaurant and also due to slightly less COF revenues and reduced recognition of homeowner reserve assessments, again required by that dastardly FASB 606. However, reduced revenues have been more than offset by reduced spending, resulting in the year-to-date loss being slightly better than budget. Most of the reduced revenues, again, are due to the restaurant being closed. And I'll just to November balance sheet, remained very healthy with total assets up slightly from October at $13,007,304, which includes cash and investments of $12,309,236. Total liabilities were also up slightly, and that includes current liabilities, which is net of reserves, deposits, prepaid expenses of $733,805. Are there any questions on the November financials?
The board has none. I don't.
Okay, we'll go to December. December, unfortunately, incurred a slight net loss of $2,213, which brought the year-to-date, year-end loss to $78,362, and that loss is $103 worse than budget. And for the month, that was for the month, and $78,342 worse than budget for the year. The negative budget variance was primarily due to bad debt expense of $106,862, and that was $362, I apologize, worse than budget. Total year income revenue, and by the way, without that, we would have been basically on budget for the year. And also, just as a matter of fact, that is a non-cash expense. So, however, our book loss is still at the $78,362. Total year-end revenue ended up at $13,041,116 and was $2,101,166 less than budget. And again, the reduced revenues, just all primarily due to the restaurant closing, slightly less golf revenues, and reduced recognition of homeowner reserve assessments required by, again, good old FASB 606. So for the year, reduced and below budget income has been offset by reduced spending in the amount of $2,022,842. And again, as with through the month of November, the reduced spending is due to the restaurant closure and slightly on golf revenues, and again, revenue recognition. Since Sherry's already talked about the restaurant activity, the financial activity for the restaurant is depicted and for the board members, you have a supplementary restaurant and lounge actual versus budget report that just depicts the specifics. And as Sherry said, restaurant activity is now pick up and home delivery, and hopefully that's going to be opening up, since it looks like Governor Newsom is starting to pay attention to some of the needs of the state. December balance sheet, total assets were up slightly from October and November at $13,087,680, including cash and investments, which also were up slightly, of $12,474,314, and total current liabilities were also up, or actually down slightly at $670,070. So as of December 31, Sun Lakes Country Club financial health is excellent. And with that, are there any questions?
There's none from the board. I don't know if any's coming in on Zoom.
I couldn't hear that.
Just tell him
None from the board.
there's no questions, Ron. None from the board, and none have come in on the Zoom. Did he hear that?
Ron, did you hear that? We are all good. We thank you for everything, and we have no questions.
Again, I couldn't hear.
Ron, thank you. There are no questions, but we do appreciate all the work you've done and for the reports you put together.
Okay, you're very welcome. A lot of help from an excellent committee.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. And committee reports, we have two, one from Lifestyles and one from the MAC.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to read the MAC report that was submitted by Mr. David Keeley, the chairperson of the Master Architectural Committee. The Sun Lakes Country Club Master Architectural Committee, commonly referred to as the MAC, meets twice monthly, each month at our first meeting of the year, acted on 29 agenda items. Working closely with the Planning and Compliance Department, the committee follows the Sun Lake CC&Rs with amendments. Any improvements to your residence starts with an application from the Planning and Compliance Department available at the administration office. They will provide you with the application for changes to your property, and they are available to answer your questions. Whether it is painting, patio covers, landscaping, including artificial turf, exterior lighting, or vinyl fencing, they are here to help you. The Master Architectural Committee is established in the Sun Lakes Country Club governing documents. The committee follows the governing documents, rules, and regulations, general statement of rules and regulations. For more information, review Article 11, Architectural Standards and Guidelines, page 64 to 86. Thank you, David Keeley, Chairman. And Jason will give the update from Lifestyles.
Thank you, Chris. Lifestyles Advisory Committee had its first Zoom meeting in January with a great deal of success. There was full attendance with the exception of Marcia Midget, the board liaison. Marcia was extremely missed because of her wise counsel and her insight into the happenings of the Sun Lakes community. A special thanks to Marcia Gold, our outgoing chair, and to Connie Kuttner, for years a dedicated secretary. We welcomed a new member, Gloria Pena, who has volunteered in Sun Lakes in many capacities. Lifestyles editor Courtney Taylor emailed us the entire packet of pages that needed to be edited. We were assigned specific pages with two members having identical pages to proofread in order to have articles double-checked. The corrected pages were collated and Elise Campbell, Recreation Director, faxed them to Courtney for her final revisions. I've worked on this committee through the unflinching leadership of Charlene Fink, Raylene Kretschmann, and Marcia Gold, and it is a privilege to be the chair this year. As you know, Lifestyles continues to be a popular and major communication vehicle in our community. Respectfully submitted, Judy Garthright, Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, is there any item that a board member wants pulled? Nope. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the, as written as the consent items.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. On the consent agenda, we approved the open session meeting minutes for December 9th. We had the ratification of reserve expense on first the main pro shop. At our January 13th exec session, the board, we approved a remodel project estimated to be $17,774.45. What this will do, $12,183 will come under repair and replacement, reserve item 921, which is pro shop remodel. $5,591.45 will be capital improvement funds. What this will do is actually help enhance the functionality of the pro shop. It will make it warm and welcoming, and also enable, we hope, for all the residents that live here to go in and enjoy and maybe purchase and look at the clothing and equipment that's there. Chris, we don't have to re-vote on this, do you? Okay. That's what I thought. I wanted to make sure. They also will be moving some things around, putting in new shelving, moving the handicap computer from one of the cubbies to the wall just inside the pro shop. So when it's completed, and they're estimating about 3 weeks, when you do go in and see it, it's going to be quite different, and I'm hoping that everyone will really like it. I'll give you a few minutes if there's anyone that wants to send in questions on this. None coming in? No? Okay. Then the other thing that we on the agenda was the ratification for the road cleanout that Mark gave you the report on. There were, we had the Orkin and, well, let's see. He mentioned Orkin, but I thought we used the...
We did.
The Restoration Management Company at a price of $27,373.65. Terminex declined. I know people were going to wonder, but they declined to give us a proposal of service, so that's why we only had 2 bids. And again, he told you what happened, what they've done, and what they're doing going forward, so that we don't have this happen again. And as he said, unfortunately, because of nothing going on in here, it wasn't caught, and it wasn't expected, and those varmints got in there in a hurry. So, and I'll wait a few minutes if there's any questions from the audience on this. No? None? Okay. The third ratification, let me get to camera, ratification of reserve expense, required gate camera software upgrade. The gates had continued to experience camera failures, and even though with the replacement of the drives that failed in late 2020, the software system for the cameras also required an upgrade to operate. Due to the security and safety issues of not having a recorded capability, the executive general manager authorized the software upgrade prior. So we did ratify it, the total of $6,091.35 that was charged to the operating fund. And again, now the pictures are clear. You will get the correct readings on the license plates. I'm trying to think of, Chris, you can help me out on this. What other?
This area, what will include is the pictures and everything, along with the license plate readers, but the pictures of the vehicles coming in around the gates, those cameras now have clear pictures that are fed to the security, the monitors over in the security, community patrols command center. This was needed, and we will continue. This is a step of upgrading the software, but the board has continued to look at camera options as in other areas, and that will be something that we are looking at through this year.
Thank you. I'll wait a few seconds or a minute if there's any questions from the audience. I know they have to type it in. I know. Okay, no questions? Okay. Also on the consent agenda, we accepted the resignation of Frank DiNucci. We want to take this time to thank him for his service and dedication. He had to resign for personal reasons. He is now living in Florida. I talked to him yesterday. He did arrive safely. He's already homesick, and he doesn't like the weather. But he did submit his resignation on, I had it here, and I missed, on the 15th of January, and he stated, "I am submitting my resignation as a member of the Sun Lakes Country Club Master Board to be effective January 16th, 2021. I want to say it has been a privilege and honor to serve with you. Sincerely, Frank DiNucci." Now, people have been asking, so what's going to happen with his position? The board chose not to appoint someone since we're only talking 2 months before the election that's coming up. So during the election, there will be 3 openings. And checking with legal, the way this works is when the votes come in, the top 2 voters or candidates that get the most votes will have the 2-year term. Then the candidate that falls in the 3rd position will finish out Frank's 1-year term. There is, unless one of the 2 that got the most votes, is if one of them states they would prefer to only have a 1-year term, then, and it's agreeable among the 3, they may do that as well. So that's how this will work at this upcoming election. We also accepted the dissolution of Sun Lakes Genealogy Club. Their letter stated, as much discussion and a polling of the membership, the Genealogy Club of Sun Lakes has decided to dissolve. This letter is the formal notification to the Sun Lakes Country Club Board of this decision. I am writing this in light of the fact that our president, Karen Tarvin, resigned earlier in 2020. There is currently $800 in our treasury that we have decided to donate to Sun Lakes Charity Trust. We have contacted David Keeley in regards to this donation. A check will be given to him for the general fund. Thank you. And it's signed by Charlene Fink, Secretary, and Joe Cross, Treasurer. Also on the consent agenda, we have the pre-lien and delinquent accounts. Chris, I'll let you give these numbers.
Perfect, thank you. We have some accounts to read off the account numbers, beginning with, and this again is for the resolution per civil code to process the liens, or a resolution to record a lien, I apologize. Well, let's start off with 0746-02, 2229-01, 3162-02, 3204-01, 0460-01, 0544-02, 0711-01, 1116-01, 1563-02, 1917-01, 1960-01, 2176-01, 2272-01, 2328-01, 2631-01, and 3000-01. That completes the accounts on the resolution to record lien, Madam President.
Thank you. Also on the consent agenda was the receive and file for the November 30th, 2020 financials. Those were approved unanimously. And the,
Yes.
and the December 31st financials also approved unanimously. I think, and that's the end of our report. We've already, Ron's already given the treasurer reports. So if we have any statements or questions coming in from the audience.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, because of the Zoom, to give them time to do that, we could do our director's comments if you like, or should we just wait? I mean, because it gives them time to type in what they are. We can do that? Okay. Well, let's start at this end. Bob?
Yes, I wanted to thank Frank DiNucci for his time on the board and wish him well in his new home in Florida. We will miss Frank. I want to thank all the residents here for their continued patience during our COVID pandemic. And it looks like we may be getting some improvement here, at least from the county or from the state. At least local restaurants are opening up, and it looks like a little bit of improvement. And really looking forward to when we can totally open up all of our amenities here at Sun Lakes and begin enjoying our beautiful community. Hopefully later this year we'll be able to do that. The main thing really is our health. And I want to make sure, or I want people to make sure that they make every effort possible to obtain their vaccinations. Very, very important. Either through your health provider, through the county, or through a local pharmacy. Some of those are available. But wherever you can, obtain the vaccines and be healthy. That's all. Be safe.
Thank you. Jack?
Yes, I would like to comment on Sherry Woods doing a marvelous job in the rejuvenating the restaurant, and I think we all appreciate what she's doing and putting out a good product. I know my wife and I have used the curbside service a number of times, and the food has been excellent, and so I really want to compliment her and the good service and the good product they have. And the second thing is being the liaison with the Master Architectural Committee. I want to remind everyone that anytime you do any improvements to the outside of your house, please get it filled out and get approval from the Architectural Committee to have that done. And if you're ever in question as to what needs to be approved or not approved, check with the office up there, check with Edgar or Miss Lopez, and they will give you guidance as to how to handle the situation. And I will tack on to what Bob said. Get your vaccine. Don't be afraid of the vaccine. It's I sold vaccines for 30 years, and they're marvelous things to have. So please get your vaccine.
Thank you. Marcia?
Okay, thanks. I'm also going to thank Frank DiNucci for all of his years of service to our community, not only as a Master Board member, but also as a District 7 delegate. And I wish he and Ann lots of happiness, and I hope they enjoy their new community in Florida. Knowing Frank, he'll get pretty involved. The restaurant is being utilized wonderfully since we've reopened back up with the curbside and delivery. So I'd like to encourage everyone to try and use the restaurant service at least once a month. If everyone did that, it would really help minimize the amount that is subsidized by the association. So my encouragement is use it. It's great. It's good food. The daily specials have been really popular, but they are limited, as Sherry said earlier. And I'll just remind you that there's really no need to call multiple times. They will call you back. I've left messages many times, and within 3 to 5 minutes, I'm usually getting a call back. I am looking forward to this year's election for the Master Board. It may look a little bit different campaigning, but there are many avenues that you can use to get your platform out to the community. So I encourage those who like a challenge and love our community to pull papers in February. And last but not least, we had our first meeting yesterday for the Rules and Regulations Ad Hoc Committee. I think this group is going to work very well together. We went through just the basics to begin with. Now we'll get into the meat and potatoes pretty much starting at the end of this month. So I think it's going to be a good committee, and hopefully, if you have any questions or suggestions, please send me an email so I have them in writing and I can present them to the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a couple things I want to tell you. Yes, the governor opened it up somewhat, and I know the restaurants are going to start serving outside again, and residents are already asking about our veranda. We discussed that today in our exec, and we're going to wait a little bit. One, the weather is so cold, even with the heaters out there. We're not sure it would warrant enough to do that because we'll have to bring on added staff to do all of that. Also, we want to make sure this doesn't go for 2 weeks and then he pulls it again, as he's done to us in the past. But on the positive side, when we can, and if the weather changes, we'll get it open and we'll work on getting staff ready to go. We are looking into putting permanent heaters on the top out in the veranda, since we've changed the dynamics of that. We couldn't do it before because we had the cloth, but now we can. And with those permanent heaters, one, it'll give out more heat, be more reliable and functional. So they are looking into that. They'll be coming back to us with a price, and rather than having those standalone heaters that we have now. So we are looking at it, and when we think the weather is going to get a little better and that the governor's not going to pull it back on us again, we will get that veranda open for you. The other thing, the update, and it was kind of mentioned about having the shot clinics here in Sun Lakes. We are still working diligently on that. I received a call from one of the real estate agents here, Carol Burton of Sun Lakes Realty. Her daughter is on the EOC committee for Rivco, and she asked me to contact her. She's working with us, trying to see if they can't get them to put us on the list to administer those shots. The issue, again, is the availability of the vaccine. She asked how many residents. We gave her a number, approximate, of residents 65 and up. We also included Four Seasons. They asked us about that. We said absolutely, because I think the more that we would be able to administer to, they may be more apt to give us the vaccine. We also are working in conjunction with, my husband is president of the foundation board at the hospital, and they've been looking into trying to help us. And we've been in contact with Steve Barron, who is the administrator there. They are on board. They will help provide the staff. And again, the issue is getting the vaccine. The young lady from Rivco said she can't make promises, but she's working hard. She's taking it to the committee there at Riverside County. We've also, meaning I've been in contact with our county supervisor, Jeff Hewitt. He's aware of what we're trying to do. What he did state to me was that the county, they're only getting 25% of what's out there. And he said part of the problem was the providers were not getting it out. Well, now they have been lately, and but it's still kind of a hodgepodge as far as the process and who gets what and when they put it out there. But there are more clinics being offered. We're still hoping that when the next batch comes in, now that they know we have a staff coming from the hospital, that they can hold it here, that they will let us know, yes, we'll let you set it up. So maybe let's get some more prayers out there, and maybe they'll bring it into us. But there's no promises. But I just wanted you to know that, yes, we are working on it. And again, along with my co-workers here, I wanted to say that thoroughly enjoyed working with Frank. We will miss him. And again, I hope that there are members out there who will take out their papers and run for the board. And it's a worthwhile, yes, it's a lot of work, but it's worthwhile. And we need some good people out there. So there's 3 openings, and let's fill out those papers. Thank you. Oh, stay warm. I think we're going to get another storm and more snow, so stay warm. Let me see, we'll go back now for the residents' comments.
Thank you, Madam President. We do have one comment. I believe it is from Barbara De Jesus. And the comment is, as to reserve study, current and historical, I noticed in the 2020 report it shows about 48 plus categories that have been changed to too small of an amount dollars to include in reserves or something to that effect. So these items must now be an operational expense. Can members get an explanation of when this decision was made and how much was moved to operational expenses? This probably means our reserves were lower than 62%. Thank you. And that
Thank
is
you.
the only comment I have received.
Okay. All right. Chris, you have none? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good evening, everyone.